This is an AccuWeather alert from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And good evening from the Eyewitness News AccuWeather Center. I'm meteorologist Lee Goldberg. This is starting to become a routine as we get into the heart of winter season, and we have these barrage of storms coming in. Tonight is a very minor event, but we want to keep you posted on both events that we've been talking about for many days. And of course, the weekend storm, very complicated, but we have some new insight on that as we've gone through the evening hours and preparing stuff already for our 11 o'clock broadcast. All right, so we're on the cusp of getting our first light event here. It's almost too much to call it a storm. It's really a system coming through tonight with light snowfall in parts of the area. And system number one is for tonight into tomorrow morning. And right now that storm it's kind of a broad area of low pressure. It actually stretches from the Ohio Valley all the way into the Tennessee Valley. And then, of course, the more formidable storm is getting its act together out west. And that's our storm for Saturday night and into Sunday. And really not even all day Sunday in terms of the precipitation, so we'll get into that. First of all, the headlines with storm number one. Now already we're seeing a few snow showers over northwestern New Jersey. I haven't gotten any surface reports. Now I'm going to be taking questions momentarily on this Facebook Live. If you are seeing some snowflakes in places like Blairstown, New Jersey, over to maybe Newton, give me a heads up that these flakes are actually reaching the ground. I want to get a little ground truth. But right now, a couple of snow showers may be reaching the ground over northwest New Jersey. For the majority of the area, the light snows are breaking out between about 10 o'clock at night and 1 in the morning, so around midnight in the city. Now, as this snow goes overnight, there will be some mixing with some rain along the immediate coast, and around daybreak or so, as this is really winding down, it could even end as maybe a little drizzle in New York City. It's winding down very quickly. I mean, as daybreak arrives, this thing is already falling apart, and it's out of our hair by the end of the morning commute. But it's just the timing that's poor, and it makes for some slick road conditions off to the north and west. I'm already hearing that we have some minor school delays that I'll pass along in just a second. There can be a couple slick spots even early in New York City, but probably wet roads. And again, there's just not enough precipitation. I mean, the closer we get to this, the less impressive it looks in terms of the amount of moisture it can actually hold. So you can see some snow showers are starting to break out across parts of northwestern New Jersey and into Orange County. And I would imagine here, even though the dew points are pretty low and the air is dry, from Blairstown to Mount Olive, there's probably a little bit of snow shower activity right now. So, Sarah, I asked our viewers who are watching this right now if they have any snow reports, not in terms of accumulation by any means, but if any snow is reaching the ground in northwest New Jersey. I'd love to hear about it because I want to get some ground truth from this radar. All right, so looking off to the west, I tweeted out a picture of some snow in D.C. that had another light and nice coating tonight with a band that went through during the early evening hours, and now they're in a break. And then you can see this other band of snow working through the Ohio Valley. So it's even hard to find a defined surface low with this, a really kind of weak system. There's one low that's kind of over lower Michigan, another one over the Tennessee Valley, and this one may actually take control of the system offshore. So we're counting on this area here to make it over the mountains and get to us. So I want to show you something when I just ran this futurecast that got me a little concerned that this could just totally fall apart over the mountains. So watch what happens. We've got the snow trying to move into our far western suburbs again, sort of a resurgence of the snow that we see now around 10 o'clock. And then it's expanding. It's getting into New York City around midnight. And you see the temperatures along the coast are around freezing, but we're into the 20s off to the north and west. So if we get light snows here, there's going to be some slippery conditions. And look what this particular futurecast does. Now, it's only one run of this, and we'll have a new one for the 11 o'clock. But it essentially weakens all the precipitation and doesn't have anything more than just showers around. And when I showed this at 6 o'clock, it was full coverage of an area of light snow and some rain along the coast. So what may be happening is, remember I showed you the two lows, is that the one to the south over the Tennessee Valley may be taking control and robbing the moisture from the north, and then we just left with some showers. So if that happens, you're talking about, there are some coatings across the area, and that's about it. So I haven't bought into that just yet, so let's give that time to evolve. And you can see by 7 a.m., no matter what, things are quieting down through the late morning, and during the day, temperatures will get above freezing. We even push the 40-degree mark, and best case scenario, there are a couple of breaks in the clouds during the afternoon hours. So I've been concentrating on all the tweaks to the weekend snowfall map, and maybe I have to make a tweak to this one saying that in general, there might just be coatings across the area. Right now I have the idea of a coating to an inch along the coast, mainly on colder surfaces, and that's leaning toward the coating to an inch even into New York City. And there's an inch north and west. There are a couple of twos here, maybe in the highest elevations north and west. But again, if this trend continues where it looks like the precipitation is going to fall apart, then we just have some coatings, and maybe we won't have that as many school delays off to the north and west. So that's something we'll be watching. Any questions before we get to the weekend storm?
Not so much questions at this point, but we're hearing from Anthony. He's seeing flurries in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah, okay, good.
We're hearing some New Jersey people are reporting they're not seeing snow yet, not in Sparta.
Oh, all right. That's
not in
good to know.
Sussex County yet.
All right. Okay. So and you should be given that radar. So it looks like the dry air in place is kind of eating into that. So maybe this initial band of snow is just kind of setting the table and increasing some of the moisture in the atmosphere profile before we can see any snow reach the ground. Okay. Thank you, by the way, for all our viewers in Sparta and Stroudsburg and over in New Jersey. Okay. So here's the deal with the second storm over the weekend now. So winter storm watches came out this afternoon. They were already up for Ulster, Sullivan, Dutchess County this morning, and then they were expanded all the way down into northern New Jersey, New York City, and Long Island. And by the way, we don't have any advisories with tonight's event. And notice, you don't have advisories south of I-78 in New Jersey. You don't have it with 3/4 of Suffolk County because you have minimal snow accumulation and you don't have an ice storm in these locations. But when you get into these shaded areas, we're going to have wintry precipitation. We're going to have hazardous travel with this storm coming in. So over the past couple of nights, and we've got some feedback that you enjoy this, not too much of it, but we show a little bit of the meteorology in this, and that we show the steering winds, and we show the pieces involved and why little subtle changes have been causing some changes in the forecast. Piece number one, and you can just focus on all the red pieces right here. That's our western piece of energy in the upper atmosphere. Here's our piece over Hudson Bay, and they're going to work together to make this storm over the weekend. Now, what's happening today is what we've noticed is that this northern piece isn't phasing with the southern piece as quickly, and I just mean by a few hours. So what that allows this system to do, it allows it to hug the coast a little bit more, so a little track farther to the north and west, and that's a warmer track for us. And the other thing is because these two aren't totally phasing till a little later in the game, the storm is able to get out of here earlier, so it doesn't linger on Sunday. It's really through Sunday morning, and then by midday, it's out of here. Now, we still have problems after that with all the gusty winds and the free fall in temperatures, but we may lose the precipitation earlier in the day. So that's at least a little silver lining, because maybe crews and all the treatments on the roads can go to work before sunset. So we'll see how that all plays out. But right now, that was the major changes today, is a slight shift in storm track north and west, and also an earlier departure of the precipitation on Sunday. All right, so let's get right into a futurecast here starting on Saturday, okay? And this is 7 o'clock in the evening. And before I get that started, anything, Sarah, yet?
We have more concerns, more so about the weekend storm, about traveling. Driving mainly, people are asking about driving back toward the area.
Okay.
Will they be impacted?
All right, so let's get into it. Okay, the first piece of advice, let's start with your Saturday travel, is you're fine through, let's say, 5 o'clock, okay? 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Once we get to that time period, snow's going to start to streak into some of our western suburbs. What are those school delays?
There you go.
Let's see. You'll excuse me because I can't see anymore. Okay, so in New York, Greenburgh is delayed 1 hour, so that's Westchester County. And in New Jersey, Phillips Academy Charter delayed 1 hour and a quarter. That's in Essex County, and in Passaic County, Prospect Park delayed 2 hours in Passaic County. Okay, so already anticipating some slick roads. They don't want to put the buses on there early. No problem taking caution with that. I mean, in the worst case, it's just a couple slick spots, and there's only snow showers around, and it's not so bad. But obviously, some schools already taking some precautions. All right, back to the weekend storm. So finish your travel up, come late day, maybe figure by sunset on Saturday, and then an area of snow is going to streak into the area. And I think the way this is set up, it'll come in and it'll probably snow pretty steadily for a few hours, maybe even come down hard. So that's why you've been hearing, oh, there's probably going to be a thump of snow Saturday evening. That's our best opportunity for accumulating snows. If we're going to get anything near the coast, if we're going to get anything in New York City in terms of snow, it's really during that Saturday evening time frame. Now, what's happened today is is that our models are suggesting that we only have maybe 3-4 hours to snow in New York City before the atmospheric profile is compromised with a warm layer, and all of a sudden we can't snow anymore. We go over to a sleet, freezing rain for a while, and eventually to rain. So if that's to happen, and we're only going to be snowing from like 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 4 hours, even if we were snowing at half an inch an hour, we're only going to get 2-3 inches in New York City. So right now our forecast is in the 3 to 6 inch range for New York City, although I was suggested on the early shows that I like the 3 more than the 6 right now. If you asked me that yesterday, I'd say, well, I like the 5 or the 6 more. But obviously with a little bit of a warmer trend today, it's toward the lower end of those ranges. And I'll get to that snowfall map in a second. So now once we get into Saturday night, this is when we're suggesting you don't want to be on the roads. Number one, there can be snow-covered roads. If we start seeing the changeover, even if it's earlier, we've got sleet and freezing rain mixing in, so we'll have ice on top of some snow, and it becomes very, very dangerous. As we go through the overnight, we'll probably get to change over to plain rain city and coast after midnight, probably in the wee hours of the morning on Sunday as temperatures start to get above freezing. But north and west, and this could be close. It might be close to I-287. It might be even a little bit south and east of that. But if you watch this area of pink, watch how long it will pivot over the same place. There's the timestamp at 1 a.m. on Sunday, and here it goes till 7 a.m. So you've got 6 hours here where in northern New Jersey, into the Hudson Valley, into interior Connecticut, where's some form of ice going on there for several hours, and that's after a decent amount of snow off the top. So that's the biggest concern areas, and I'll show you an ice futurecast in a second off to the north and west. You can see in the Catskills and the Poconos and maybe in northernmost Dutchess and certainly up toward the Capital District, it's been white this whole time. So that's an all snowstorm up here, and that's where we can get our double-digit amounts. You know, we could possibly get over a foot of snow. Here's what I was talking about with the speed of the storm. So there's Sunday 1 o'clock, and the moisture's just about gone. I mean, the overall change back to snow would be limited with this. It would be leaving too fast. The colder air is working in, but it really wouldn't give much of a window for a lot of snow on the backside. Doesn't mean there couldn't be some light accumulations on the backside, but the precipitation is moving out by midday. The colder winds are coming in, and our temperature free fall is starting basically during the late morning into the midday hours. Any questions?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is in reference to tonight or to this weekend, but Justin's asking if there's any chance the storm could move southward and give us more snow.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you know, if this particular snowfall forecast, ice forecast, how this all evolves, it's so fragile. You know, I mean, a few miles, a few hours, and, you know, we have to adjust our totals north or south. I like where we are right now. We may be on the high end of snow total forecast right now, but let me show you where that ice situation is going to be. First of all, going back to that model difference, if you remember, like the axis of the heaviest snows were closer to the tri-state area last night. And with today's models, everything has been pushed north again. So this is almost what it looked like 2 days ago. And we're really, the Catskills and the Poconos are on the southern fringe. So now you're back to your Syracuses and just up to maybe Burlington, Vermont. This is where we, you know, could get 1.5 feet of snow up here. So the skiers are going to be good. And I have our resident skier here. Did you want to ask me?
I wanted to ask you.
What's that?
The holiday being Monday, there's going to be a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to be going up to the ski resorts, the local ski mountains? Will the mountains get a lot of this snow? Will that make the local skiers be happy?
Okay, so the question is, if you couldn't hear it off camera, is with the holiday on Monday, will skiers be able to go and take advantage of a lot of the snow? I think we will do very well in the Catskills, like Hunter Mountain will do very well. The only issue is getting there. You know, like if you're there before the storm, you're in great shape. The problem is because of all the icing that's happening, travel's going to be treacherous. I wouldn't suggest trying to get up there on Sunday. The only thing I could say is, and I don't even know if I would want to suggest this, if the precipitation is ending fast enough on Sunday, and the crews are able to get out there and clean some stuff up, and you can just, you know, check your traffic reports and check your municipalities and see if they're handling it well. Monday is going to be a dry day, but also skiing on Monday, you're skiing in teens with wind chills that are 20 below. So that's not safe either. So like the more I sort of think through this as you ask me about it, I mean, I can't recommend trying to travel up there and ski in that type of cold.
I was thinking particularly about young families and young first-time skiers, jumping on in their cars on Monday morning because they're off from school, bugging out, that would be a dangerous condition.
I think it would be, I think it will be dangerous. And I think you'll have like upper lifts shut down because of the wind and all that stuff. So the more I think about it, we're doing well for next week. This is probably for next week, but unfortunately, I wouldn't rush on the holiday. So thanks for asking me that question. Okay, so let's continue here. So here is the snowfall map for the weekend storm, Saturday night into Sunday. So a 1 to 3 inch storm for parts of central New Jersey. It's really southern New Jersey, toward the Jersey Shore. 1 to 3 inches to the south shore of Long Island, the east end right here. And a lot of this would just get washed away, and I'm not worried about any major icing here, even though there could be a brief period of sleet. From central New Jersey to into parts of northeastern New Jersey, including New York City, the north shore of Nassau County, so a place like Glen Cove, Port Washington, over to Huntington, across the Sound to coastal Connecticut, Stamford, Norwalk, Lower Westchester, Rybrook, over to Englewood and Alpine. That's all in the 3 to 6 inch band. For New York City, I'd say 3 is more likely than 6 at this point. But even all it takes is a little bit of a nudge south and east with the storm track, and we do push the 6 inch totals. Once we get into northern Westchester, northern Rockland, a place like West Milford, we get a little elevation in northwest New Jersey, Sussex County as well. Now we're starting to approach your 6 inch totals. Same thing for, like, let's say a Danbury. Maybe we're close to 6 inches there. And then the amount should ramp up here once we get into places like Goshen and Fishkill and Marblehead and over to Liberty. Now we can talk about more like some 8 inch totals up here, and we approach the foot once we get to northern Sullivan, northern Ulster and Dutchess, and also into parts of Pike County. So I will leave that up as we ask some questions, but go ahead.
Donna is concerned about tomorrow morning's commute.
Where is Donna?
I don't know.
Okay. I wouldn't be so concerned. I mean, listen, all it takes is a little bit of a small accumulation in areas that have temperatures in the 20s off to the north and west. I'm not concerned about a high impact event tomorrow. Just realize, I mean, the roads are certainly going to be treated. We're ready for this, but there can be some slippery spots on secondaries. Watch your footing on the sidewalks. If you're in the city, watch yourself coming out of the subways. But it really does look like a very light event, and I think the majority of the area is going to basically get a dusting to, a coating to an inch, and the 2s are really going to be confined to the higher elevations well north and west. It just doesn't look that impressive right now. So it's very light accumulations, and the city roads will probably just be wet.
We had some concerns about the Arctic blast. Can you
go
over again what we can expect?
Sure, and we'll go back to this map, and I've posted it on all platforms. You can see it at any time, and we may make some small adjustments as we go into the 11 o'clock show. All right, so during that time period, and I showed it to you, it was in that 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. time period, Sunday 1 a.m. to 7 a.m., so Sunday early morning. There's going to be an area, and I think it's going to put itself between the I-287 and I-84 corridor, where we're going to go over to some freezing rain, sleet and freezing rain. And this could be some ice accumulation. There could be a quarter to a half inch of ice. Very, very dangerous. There's not a tremendous amount of wind, but that can collect on trees and power lines. We can have power outages, and any untreated roads, very, very slippery. So really could be a skating rink in this area. And remember, this is in an area where there's, some places are getting half a foot of snow in this area. So that, with the ice on top of it, very difficult to remove and can be very damaging. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that around the home. If you don't want anything encased in ice outside, make sure you bring it in before this weekend storm hits. So that's the area I'm really concerned about for the icing. And in fact, here's an ice futurecast. You'll see the pink reveal itself in just a second. This is a new run of it. Okay, so there it is. And again, it's sort of mirroring what we talked about. North and west of I-287, along the I-84 corridor. It's showing a lot of icing up here. I'm not sure that that's as big a concern here, but certainly right in this northern New Jersey into the Hudson Valley, the potential for significant ice event.
Elizabeth is asking, do you think the railroads will be impacted Sunday?
I do think
specifically Long Island Railroad, but all of them, really.
Yeah, yes, I do. I do think the railway, and it doesn't take much for the LIRR to have issues. I'm sorry to take a shot at the LIRR, but with experience. So The fact is when we look at the temperature drop that's going to happen with this Arctic blast, we're going to be somewhere in the 35 to 40 degree range to start the day. And by the way, there's going to be an enormous temperature range. I'll show you across the area. We could have near 50 degree temperatures in southernmost New Jersey. It could be in the 60s down through eastern Virginia, and it'll be in the single digits in teens upstate New York. So an incredible temperature, what we call gradient around the area, change in temperature over a certain distance. So as that temperature crashes during the day on Sunday, let's say it's 35 to 40 in the morning hours, dropping below freezing late morning, 20s during the afternoon, teens at night, single digits by Monday morning. I think as that temperature starts to crash during the afternoon hours, we're going to have freezing along the rail. So I do anticipate some train delays as we go through Sunday afternoon. Hopefully they're working on it, later Sunday so that Monday, and I guess they'd be in a holiday schedule anyway, so that Monday things are working okay. But in that type of temperature where we're in the single digits Monday morning and winds are howling at 40 miles an hour, I don't know if you can stay on top of something like that. The one thing that we can hope for is that maybe with that gap of the precipitation ending by midday Sunday and wind kicking in, that things are blown dry before they freeze over. I mean, it's a little bit of wish casting, but maybe we have a chance at that now that the precipitation is ending a little earlier. Here, look at this depiction. 9 a.m. snapshot on Sunday. 60 Norfolk, 53 Philly, 36 New York, 12 Albany, 5 Burlington. Let's step it one more. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're down to 23 in New York. It's 36 Montauk. It's 30 in Philly. All right. And then the continued drop after sunset, lower 20s, dropping into the teens north of the city. Look at this projected temperature, 7 a.m. Monday. I mean, that may be a little low, but 1 projected by this model in New York, 8 below Albany. And wait till you see the wind chills here. Here's a futurecast wind chill. Projected Monday morning, 19 below for a wind chill in Central Park. The wind will be ripping on Monday morning, and these temperatures in the single digits will make it feel like it's 10 to 25 below.
Just one more time, because there does seem to be a lot of concern. People are very concerned about flying this weekend.
About flying this weekend. Okay. So you get out, you're able to get out on Saturday. I mean, obviously delays across the country may hamper that, but locally, you're able to get out during the day on Saturday. Saturday evening, delays start to happen and pile up as visibility start to go down and the snow comes in. Would we be able on Sunday morning, even though the rain is heavy early, the rain starts to taper, like at a place like JFK? You're better off if you're flying out of JFK than you are out of Newark. The wind hasn't picked up so much yet, starting to pick up in Newark, and temperatures are starting to drop. So it's more problem in Newark, but by the water, you have a little better shot at leaving at JFK or LaGuardia. And then delays will start to build on Sunday because the wind starts to pick up and the freezing, so the de-icing will take extra time. But I do think they'll be flying into the day on Sunday. And then we'll have to see if the bitterly cold temperatures cause delays into Monday. Okay? All right. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I want to show you. All right, so here's the 7-day AccuWeather forecast. We have a slick start tomorrow. Again, at 11 o'clock, we will update that futurecast. Let's see if this kind of fractured system coming in tonight continues to weaken. We should have some breaks in the clouds late in the day and a high around 40. A break during the day on Saturday, plenty of time to get things done as we prepare for the storm. Snow comes in at night, goes over to sleet and freezing rain, eventually rain along the coast. May end as a little bit of snow. Big time winds come in. We have the afternoon flash freeze. We're brutally cold on Monday, wind chills well below 0, so AccuWeather alert day there. Still bitter on Tuesday, but we're partly sunny. We're increasing clouds on Wednesday, and that moderation temperature continues. We could get to 40 degrees, and that would mean more likely some rain coming in at night and a soggy start on Thursday. So that's the way it's shaping up for both systems. I hope you got what you needed out of that. We'll have a complete update coming up on Eyewitness News at 11. Thank you always for clicking on ABC7NY for your AccuWeather information. Stay safe.